Hey everyone, so this is Elementary Season 5, Episode 5, called To Catch a Predator. So the episode starts off with Shinwell over at Sherlock and Joan's place, and he's trying on some of Sherlock's old clothes that he doesn't really use anymore for a job interview, but he's worried about the people, or the person he's getting interviewed by, are only going to care about his criminal record. Joan tries to, say, no, just go do the interview and see what happens. Because all it takes is one person willing to give you a chance and everything. Then it shifts over to a guy in a hotel room talking on the phone to a woman, presumably, which it's clear to me that he's lying to this woman, saying that he is just, working a little bit later than usual and everything, and as he's doing this, he's taking off his wedding ring. Sorry, left hand, not right hand. Anyway, so when he's doing all that, he hears gunshots. So when the woman on the other end is like, well, what was that? He's like, oh, it was just my coworker who was getting a little excited because he finished this, or he had this breakthrough on this part of the project or whatever he was working on. Then here's a second gunshot, and a dead body is thrown through the hotel window that he's in, or motel window. Anyway, so later we find out the victim is Damien Novak, who is 35 years old or something like that, and he's married. Marcus thinks that he was cheating, but he isn't really comfortable going with that idea just yet. Sherlock says Novak wasn't cheating, but was there to meet an underage girl he met online and was killed by someone who hated predators. Marcus isn't clear how Sherlock went from looking at the autopsy to claiming Novak was a predator, and Sherlock reveals that this happened 5 other times. Sherlock and Greg send them watch a video where a 45-year-old dentist named Jerome Chun, who was at a motel to have sex with a 15-year-old girl. The guy filming these predators catfishes these predators, ambush them, and make them say on video camera that he can take the videos, or say on camera that they did what they did, and then he posts them online. Gregson thinks the person making the videos is also killing them afterwards, but that isn't the case. The catfisher is only videotaping them, then releasing them on the internet. So something went wrong last night. All the other 5 cases happened in New Jersey, and Detective Brooks thinks the one in New York is the one working with someone entirely different, but Sherlock thinks that the killer is just moving up north. At Novak's house, his wife Stephanie says there's no way that Damien was there to have sex with an underage girl because his sister was attacked by a family friend when she was younger, so he would never do that. Garrett Lerner, who is Stephanie's brother, prompts Stephanie to come clean about the photos on Damien's laptop. Turns out there's photos of young girls, and when Damien was asked about these women or these girls or whatever on his laptop, he said that they were just college girls and that's why they looked so young. Damien then password protected his files when Stephanie asked about them, but Garrett managed to get the photos onto his phone and shows them to Marcus and Joan. And then later, Sherlock goes to first I want to say that Damien was on the website True Romantics, which with an X and then an CS. So he goes to the building where True Romantics is operating out of, and that's the dating website that was being used. So he goes there, talks to the I think owner of the site, and the owner doesn't really cooperate because he's worried because clearly, like Sherlock said, he's worried about bad press. And a woman nearby, excuse me, helps Sherlock out. When Joan then comes back home, Shinwell is waiting with the clothes he borrowed and reveals that the guy, or the person who interviewed him, doesn't really think he's qualified because of him working in the prison cafeteria. And so he decides to just take a break from the job hunt for now. Back inside, Sherlock tells Joan that the catfisher used a different profile each time to lure the predators rather than the same one like he thought. After looking at the chat transcripts, it's clear the guys that were lured were very clear on the fact that they were going to meet an underage girl for sex. Joan then tries to get Sherlock to take Shinwell on to learn how to become a detective, but Sherlock is very hesitant about that. This is when Joan notices the pictures of the girls the catfish was using to lure the predators, and says she saw the same exact pictures on Novak's computer. So they were on that Garrett showed them. So he thinks she thinks Novak is the catfisher. Marcus and Joan then tell all this to Gregson and reveal that aside from the 5 profiles they already know about and have since been taken down, there were 3 more profiles that were still up and active. They think Damien was at the motel to catch another predator, but the predator caught him by surprise and killed him. Gregson then says that now all they need to do is identify who Novak was going to meet, but Joan says that the guy he was going to meet most likely wasn't the one who killed Novak. The guy that Novak was going to go meet was the man from the beginning of the episode. And he was there, and Novak was under the guise of 15-year-old girl. The 3 ask him about that night, but he says he'll only give information if they promise not to tell his wife about it. So after they promise, the guy's like, well, I saw a white Toyota drive away after the fact on the phone that he was planning to use to videotape him having sex with this underage girl. Back at home, Joan then gets word from Sherlock that of the 5 guys who were exposed as perverts, only one had the opportunity to do it since Chun committed suicide. And the ones that couldn't have done it were Chun, who committed suicide after being questioned, and he has since been in a coma. Another was arrested for embezzling at his construction firm and is now serving a 5-year prison sentence. Ignacio Gomez and the last guy that I didn't quite catch the name of fled the country after being exposed. So that leaves Jack McGill. A year ago, a female coworker accused Jack McGill of sexual harassment, and he lost his job and all that. So he lost his job, his wife, his kids, all that. They then go question him about where he was, and find out that he's still claiming that he was set up for being a predator. And he says this because he says that he was never on the True Romantic site, and that he was lured to the motel where Novak was by someone who claiming to want to talk about the lawsuit that's against him for the sexual harassment. The woman who had filed the sexual harassment, her name is Yvette Ingram, and McGill says that the deposition wasn't going well for her, and she must have pointed Novak out to him so that she could then get a slam dunk on the sexual harassment case. They then speculate that, or as they're walking away, Sherlock and Joan then speculate that Yvette found out about Novak somehow, or that they knew each other. Sherlock then tells Joan if she wants to teach Shinwell how to become a detective, that's on her, but he won't participate in it. Marcus then calls and says they figured out Novak's password, were able to prove that he was a catfisher, but they found something else out. There was a link to a 9th profile that they didn't know about on a completely different website. And the profile wasn't for a man, it was, or the profile wasn't to catfish a man, it was to catfish a woman. But when they get back to the precinct, turns out the profile's name is Raphael Arnold, and the woman Novak was trying to talk to was Yvette Ingram, but she didn't respond back. So they bring Yvette in, tell her about the Raphael profile and how it's fake, and she says, like, you know what, I didn't have anything to do with this because McGill really did sexually harass me, and all I really wanted was to make sure that he would never do anything like this again. And she basically gives an alibi to where she was. She was trying to set up her own firm, and was meeting with an ex-client to help her so that she could get help with that. And she was on I think they said the Upper East Side or something like that. Anyway, and then she further says that if you want to know who set up McGill for being a predator, talk with the people who are invested in the sexual harassment case I was filing. So later, Joan then goes to meet Shinwell, tells him of a job. The job is working for her and so that he could be a detective, but he says no. Sherlock then has set up his own account on the True Romantic site and has been chatting with a woman on there who works as a secretary for an investment firm who backed Yvette's lawsuit. Sherlock gets hold of the list of people who are invested in Yvette's lawsuit, and one of the names is all too familiar. Turns out it's Garrett, the brother-in-law, Novak's brother-in-law and Stephanie's brother, who is on the list. So they bring him in, and Marcus tells him that they know he knew about Novak and his scheme to lure predators. Garrett says that he was invested in the lawsuit against McGill, so what he did was he created a fake profile of McGill on the True Romantics website, lured Novak there after he got Novak there, so that the lawsuit went from a long shot to a slam dunk. But he did not kill Novak because he was invested in another lawsuit that he needed help. He needed help from Damien with. So he needed Damien alive so that he could trick him into helping the other lawsuit so that he could make millions. Now, I want to pause right there for a second, because while I understand that you really want to help this, you really want to help the women in the sexual harassment cases, I understand that. It tugs on my heart too. I think they need to be punished, but if the only way you can do that is to fabricate evidence, then not only does your whole case get blown out of water, and therefore your evidence is tainted, and therefore your case gets dismissed because of tainted evidence. You're setting up for the fact that now the person who is being accused of sexual harassment can claim every single time a woman brings a sexual harassment case against me or against them, they can claim that this woman is making it up, because they'll do anything possible to make sure that they get restitution for being sexually harassed. So you have to think about this long term. It's not going to just affect the case right this second, but it's going to affect any future cases, any future real sexual harassment cases in the future. So, well, yes, it's despicable that you can't exactly prove sexual harassment, and therefore you can't get this guy on being a douchebag and sexually harassing women. You have to think about the fact that, like I said, if you're found out, not only is your case against him at the moment going to be blown out of the water, but future cases are going to be discredited as well, because he can now claim that every single sexual harassment case against him is fabricated, because this one woman fabricated this one case was decided because of fabricated evidence. So you have to think about this long term. You can't just think about the short term of it. You have to think about long term. So, I mean, while I don't dispute the fact that he most likely, this McGill guy was 99.99% of the sexual harassment guy. The only way you can really get him on it is if you can prove that he did it. And if you're proving it with fabricated evidence, then like I keep bringing up, in the future, he's gonna just keep claiming that every single sexual harassment case that was filed against him is fabricated, and therefore the women are making it up, which is not going to be true, because I mean, not every woman's going to make it up. I mean, there might be some women who make it up, but the vast majority of the women would not make this up. So now he has a real case for slander or I don't know, either slander or libel or whatever, which one, I think it's slander, and now he has a case for restitution being brought on him, restitution being given to him because of the fact that he lost his job, he lost his wife, he lost his kids, he had received. He lost his livelihood, basically, is what I'm trying to say. He lost his livelihood. So, and now he can't make money because of this, because of fabricated evidence. So, now Yvette could possibly be required to pay him restitution for what this guy did, because because of what this guy did. So yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it, but I mean, it's just not the way to go about it. Because otherwise, like I'm bringing up multiple times, this guy can now claim that in the future, every single time a sexual harassment case comes along, that it's fabricated, and he is the victim here, not the woman. So, I mean, it puts women back because of what Garrett did. Just saying. So anyway, back with the episode. Back at home, Jonah's looking with people who were shamed, were the predators who were shamed, and if they could have killed Damien. After reading what a victim wrote about what one of the predators did to her, Sherlock figures out who killed Damien. Sherlock then brings the woman in who helped him with the investigation, who was working at the True Romantics website. And her real name is Nadia, and the victim Sherlock was reading, and she's the victim that Sherlock was reading about. She was trying to bring her abuser to justice when Damien shamed her abuser, and excuse me, it worked so well that her abuser fled the country to Indonesia. And so now they don't show her being arrested, but it's presumed that she's arrested for killing Damien. Back at home, Sherlock arranges for cocaine to turn up in Nadia's abuser's house in Indonesia, since the government there doesn't like drug dealers. And he will end up spending the rest of his life in prison there because of it. In Shinwell's apartment, when he comes home, he is visited by, I guess you could call it, an acquaintance, and he threatens to hurt Joan if he continues to talk to her. So that's the entire episode. I want to make a quick long-term prediction for the last scene of the episode. I think that Shinwell is going to end up taking matters into his own hands regarding that guy who was in his apartment, rather than go to Joan. I mean, I think he's going to do that first. I mean, eventually I think he's going to go to Joan about this, but I think he's going to try to end up trying to fix this on his own before he goes to Joan. And then I think he is eventually going to take her up on being a detective. Like, I think he's honestly going to end up taking her up on that offer. I mean, even though he initially said no this episode, I think he's going to, because of what he's going to end up doing with that guy, or doing to that guy, he is going to take Joan up on her offer to train under her to be a detective. Because otherwise, I mean, I don't think they would have brought it up if they weren't eventually going to have him do that, or have him work in some capacity with Sherlock and Joan. So I mean, I really don't think that they would have made that a thing if they weren't going to do eventually have him be working under Joan. So I think that's what's going to happen with Shinwell. And I'm excited to see him possibly be more of a series regular on the show, hopefully, because I really like him. I really like his character, and I really like the actor. So hopefully they make him he becomes more prominent as the season progresses, and then hopefully gets bumped up to a series regular next season, if not before then. So that's really all I have to do as far as long-term predictions go. Actually, yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna bring that up. Actually, no, I am gonna bring it up. I know I keep going back and forth here, but I'm wondering about that autistic girl. I think she said she was autistic. Last season, last season that was kind of a series regular. I don't know. I don't remember what happened to her. Sorry, I got a little message there. I don't remember what happened with her. I think her and Sherlock are still together, but they haven't brought her up since the first episode of this season. I think maybe if I memory serves, I don't remember them bringing it up, but I thought that they were still together, but they really haven't said much about her since last season. So hopefully they get back to that. Because I could have sworn that, because I remember she had concerns about dating Sherlock, and so I think she said she broke things off, but then I thought they got back together, but I could most likely be wrong about that. So I mean, if I'm wrong about that, I hope Sherlock kind of gets someone I hope he gets someone outside of Joan, because I mean he took a chance with Joan and letting her in, and I really don't see any romantic things going on between those two. So I'm hoping that he gets some other, I guess you could call them friend, friends outside of Joan, because other than Joan, the only people he really associates with is Captain Gregson and Marcus, and once in a while his father. But only because he has to with his father anyway. But the only ones he freely associates with is, like I said, Gregson and Belle and Joan. So I'm wanting more, I guess, friendships. I mean, I don't necessarily need him to be in a romantic relationship, but I mean, if he ends up in one, I don't care. But like I said, I thought that he and that girl were together last time, by the end of last season, but maybe they completely broke up or something. Because I just don't remember, because I didn't go back and make sure. But anyway, yeah. But so if I'm wrong about those two being together, then I'd like to see Sherlock, branch out a little bit more. I mean, I get that his personality is that he doesn't have friends, but it'd be nice for him to nice to see him have more friends. But that's just me. Now, next week on Sherlock, or Elementary, sorry, I've been watching Sherlock lately, so that's why I keep saying Sherlock in the videos. I mean, it's a completely different show. I mean, it's set in the 21st century as well, but it's a completely different show. So I've been watching that. Plus, it's like right in front of me on my desk here, so that's why I keep saying Sherlock, because I'm literally looking at it right now, and so that's why I keep saying Sherlock instead of Elementary. Anyway, so next week on Elementary, the murder of a chef. Looks like there's going to be a mass murder about to take place. I'm thinking that I'm gonna make the prediction next week that the mass murder that's supposed to happen is just a cover up, and that he's really just trying to kill only one, or the person who's doing the mass murder is really just trying to kill one person, to cover and doing this whole mass murder to cover up the fact that he or she is trying to kill only one person. So that's my prediction of why it's looking like there's going to be a mass murder. And I wouldn't put it past the writers to have the chef who is murdered at the beginning of the episode be the one person that the person that this killer's trying to cover up by creating a mass murder. So possibly because the chef had an affair and knocked up his mistress, excuse me, and didn't want, and the chef asked the mistress to have an abortion, or he wouldn't, he was denying that the baby was his or whatever. Who knows why? That could be a reason, but who knows? Anyway, so that's my prediction for next week. And I will see you guys next week on Elementary. Bye.